Jacob, I'll kick us off once
Go
you get
ahead.
us back to the. Welcome everybody to the Astros 82 here for the USA Truck Series on the West Coast. Race 11 of 15. I believe I caught
Correct.
that right.
Yep.
We've got Trevor Walker and Tim Cording in his second race back on the season.
And don't
Starting in the
mind
front row.
the fact that I've been so busy that I haven't been able to fix it yet. You can tell that their old Ford grill is still on that Volkswagen. It is a Volkswagen, but it is kind of paying homage to the origins of Cording in his rise to dominance here.
It's just for decoration at this point.
Right. I think you've mentioned it before that there's one of the trucks sitting in the graveyard that's got duct tape on it, right?
Oh yeah, it's still sitting back there.
This one might join that Frankenstein group someday in the Ford Volkswagen or the Volkswagen F-150 or something. And so
I
further,
I was gonna say, go ahead. I introduced the front row, so why don't you take us through the rest?
yep, I'll go ahead and kick it off. We've got Trevor Vaden alongside Brian DeBlanc next row here. And then it is Kyler Sustre and Chris Harvey. Noah Hobson, who just won a couple weeks ago back at Portland, alongside Matthew Fastnot. And then it is Zach Magoon with John Hagan. Tasha Wright in her second race back, driving the Volkswagen for Cording Brothers Motorsports, alongside Alex Sanvital. Sanvital has been an impressive rookie this season. It's going to be interesting to see what he does and if he's actually going to be in the playoffs on points. Late joiner on the series, William Whitmore, alongside Adam Cruz. Just 1 second here, folks. And then next row, you have Braden Hunt and Spinham Walker. Anheuser Wachner, yep, and Lynn Farrell. Dave Steele Jr. still struggling in this truck series. Been dominant force in bridge to cup action, but starting mid-pack here today with Joao Vitor right alongside of him. Bailey Parker fills in for the absent Joe Hill, who left the series. Bailey Parker inherits a pretty good ride there. May not be as great in the starting position here today, but we'll see how he does. Kat Durham and Jason So. Jonah Burridge and Adam Starr. Monty Shangle and Rich Roy. Roach and Jack Davis. Rand Kataz and Matthew Hubert. Alan Chavot and Jacob Shangle, with Gavin Legend, Craig Popkris, Chasey Plays, Luis Rodriguez, Lucas Holmes, and Jamison Thole, with Chase Kovacic and Paul Ladino. Man, he set a very rough lap in qualifying, didn't he, James?
Yeah, a whole minute off of the slowest time on the field.
So we'll see if maybe he can get his bearings here in the main event, as these trucks will take to the field for 24 laps here today at COTA.
Should be getting the command to fire engines here any second now.
So I'll give us a little bit of a brief moment here to kind of, I guess, catch up on what's happened so far this season. As you see, it's Trevor on the inside front row. And they have
There's
pretty
the
much...
command just off in the distance there. Guess we're kind of far away from the front stretch to hear it, but
It is kind of interesting how it's flip-flopped here. Usually it's the East Coast where we've seen all the dominance like this. And this year it's actually the West Coast, almost a carbon copy of what we've seen from the East Coast before. So still very much a trial and error experience for us, because I mean, I haven't changed anything on my computer, but it just doesn't seem to like sharing screen on Discord anymore. There's so many things that are running in the background on Windows 10 that
Is your Steam Deck still hooked up?
I just unplugged it. That's what that
Do
sound.
this?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense.
I did. That might help a little bit. I'd turn my fan back on my computer. Looks like it's mildly improving here, but we're going to be sitting about 10 frames per second. So, folks, if you're tuning in, just hold tight. It's still going to be a race. We're still going to have a winner. And regardless of the frame rate, we'll be able to deliver the best we can here today. 24 laps at COTA. And it is Tim Cording and Trevor Walker leading them to the start here. You got the Trevor freight train on the inside there. DeBlank right behind Tim Cording. And I think, honestly, we haven't seen what, obviously it's been the Trevor and Trevor show, but adding that extra wrinkle with Tim Cording in the mix now, it's going to get interesting.
Yeah, I think I remember in our last race, Tim kind of cut it up between the two of them there last time.
Yep, last race we had at Iowa.
We kind of checked up the 90 into the 24 of Sustre there. When they were coming out of the hairpin back there.
Oh, whoa, there's a lot of difference between breakpoints on the track here, it looks like. Yeah, the last race we had at Iowa for this West Coast, Tim Cording ended up finishing second in that race to none other than Spin'em Walker, actually. So we had our third different winner.
I was just going to say, he did almost win that race before, like, fuel strategy or something.
Right, yeah, the strategies kind of put Spin'em Walker at the front, and he didn't look back after that. And of course, here today, 24 laps should probably give us about one run to pit stops. We can look at the garage and see. I think it's probably about 18 to 20 laps. No, actually 29.
So we could see pit stops for tires, but we'll have to wait and see what happens.
So in the first few laps here today, it's the Trevor show, as Walker leads over his teammate Vaden. Do a quick run through the field here while we can. It looks like Sustre in 4th, DeBlank in 5th, Chris Harvey running 6th, Noah Hobson in 7th, Matthew Fastnot 8th, Zach Magoon 9th, and you've got Tasha Wright in the top 10. Must be something to it with the Volkswagen power. We've seen a pretty quick turnaround for these Volkswagen trucks to run up front in the series.
Well, and we said it last night about both of those CN trucks as well. The possibility of both of those drivers being elevated by being brought over to the KBM/Volkswagen camp.
Well, and then you got right here DeBlank in kind of a technical alliance. That's been a perennial contender for wins so far this season. That 85 truck. He's the highest in points without a win, or at least he was at one point. I think he's still. Yep, he's fourth in the points, and the three drivers in front of him each have a win. So DeBlank is in on points as it runs right now, and there's not enough races for him to get knocked out if a bunch of drivers get a win. So that's, I mean, he's hopped around from Ford to Chevy to now Volkswagen, and I think it's safe to say he's maybe found a good landing spot here with Volkswagen.
So, Jacob,
Yes.
you remember yesterday during Kentucky how we talked about how for Tom it only took him 2 races to get inside the top 30.
Right?
It only took Tim 1. He's 30th right now.
Wow. That's I kind of missed
So
that.
all he needs right now is the win.
That's crazy. I mean, you could take 10 races off and then show up and just finish second and you're in the money. That's crazy actually.
Well, a lot of people will the sad thing is a lot of people will put an asterisk next to this championship if either of the Cording brothers win it.
Since they missed, I mean, it's a Kyle Busch
Since
clause.
Yeah, it's that Kyle Busch clause. But it's like they put in just as much work as everybody else. It's just they had to jump the same hurdles.
Right? It's just a tough
They
break.
had to come from a further back deficit. They had a little help, yeah, but they had to prove it once they got there.
Well, I mean, right out of the gates, they've been running second, third, second, and just short of getting that first. So yeah, I think honestly with this race, it's going to be right towards the end of one run on strategy. So some people might get cute and decide to pit and try to get off strategy, try and go out there on fresh tires, but the only way that's really going to pan out is if everyone manages to pit. And it's going to be tough to say. I mean, these leaders, they might be burning more fuel out there. You never know. I've seen it where the leaders have to pit, about 3 or 4 laps early because they've burnt so much fuel out there trying to hold everyone else off that you get, weird topsy-turvy outcomes from, everyone else staying out.
We could also get like we got last night in the East Coast race where Tom was running down Malcolm and used up all of his stuff trying to catch him. And he caught him, but by the time he caught him, his stuff was used up and Malcolm had just kind of saved it.
Right. Well, and if we look right now, fastest lap does belong to Tim Cording, who's running in third. By about, looks like 1/10. One-tenth a second faster lap. That really does, that transfers over to a lot on track. Well, we're peaking at nearly about 20 frames per second, and I just gotta say, this is probably due in part to it being on a road course. We would be golden here right now if it was a small,
Yeah,
short track.
if this was Kentucky last night, we'd be at like 50 and be just cruising.
I don't know. I think Tim Cording's keeping the distance. He's closing it up a little bit here.
I think he's just been managing his pace, seeing what these two in front of him have. It's still his second race back. He doesn't know what those two have yet.
Now this tends to be the hot zone right here. We've seen so many times where there's fender benders going into this turn. And we'll see if it happens in the trucks here tonight. Yeah, look at the closing rate between the 6 and the 14 there. Gives everyone an idea. Oh, look, the 94's made up a couple spots from dead last. He's already up to 33rd. So you can't say that there's no room for passing at this track. He's just made up 10 spots already from starting dead last.
Well, you gotta wonder though. We are 4 laps in. When do you gotta start sort of relaxing to not? Oh, what the heck happened here to Monty Shangle?
So I think might have been a fender bender in that spot that I was mentioning. Let's see, we'll fast forward to that zone on the track. Not there. So further along in the lap till we get to the Shell Pennzoil. Yep, right there. Oh, wow. He did not stop at all. Bam.
Well, there's the front damage, but where's the back damage come from? He must take a back shot on his way into the pits.
Yeah, he's getting a little bit. Yeah, he must have took some.
He must have taken some damage there at some point on his way in.
And the 46 also got a little bit of damage on his truck. Looks like we have 2 retirements. The 88 of Joao Vitor and the 89 of Gavin Legend. As not much has changed at the front of the field still. Oh, lap 1. So this happened way at the start. Still trying to see where Joao Vitor is in the 88. He must have... So perhaps that's how Paul Ladino was able to gain so many spots, is the chaos at the back half of the field here, kind of giving him opportunities to make some moves through the field. Right there. But he never even finished the lap, it looked like. He was out on lap 1. Unless that was just substantial damage to the front end enough to kill it for him. Yeah, it must have been all it is.
Something else must have happened to the 88. Oh, big damage to the front of the 88. So he got... Oh, right as he was coming into the pits, it looks like.
Oh yeah, nothing wrong. Running in 20th. Unfortunately, in only his second career start here. Huh.
Yep, right there, and just drives off into the sunset. Okay, then. It's one way to end the race, I guess.
Things are starting to get a little bit stretched out here at the front. Let me dig and see if we've actually had a truck race here in the past on the USA trucks.
I think we have. I think we have ran a truck race here before.
So far, not seeing it between years 1 and 2. Well, it looks like it's our first ever truck race here at COTA, so I could have been mistaken, or I could have been fooled thinking that we had one here before.
Could have been for the other series. I believe we have been to COTA for a couple of other series before.
Yeah, Bridge to Cup, definitely. The Cup series, we've been here a couple times now. The racing product is a little bit on the lacking side. I don't know if there's an alternate version that's been made of this track yet, but honestly, it's no different than if you have an F1 race here. They're kind of out of the gates is where all the action is, and then settles into a nice long run of pit strategy and all that. I'm ultimately excited about our Music Fest Grand Prix this October, where we're going to be going to Australia to do the special event at it's at a road course lakeside. I think it's changed names a few times. I've heard like Queensland or something other, but ultimately it's Lakeside Speedway or Raceway, and it's kind of a fun road course. I don't know if there's any footage on YouTube. I'd recommend looking up Australia's Lakeside Racetrack road course. Kind of get an idea of what our Music Fest Grand Prix is going to be like this year. And those of you that don't know, it's basically the evolution of our Rock and Roll Hall of Fame event from last year, trying to make it more encompassing on what music's going to be featured on the race cars for the sponsors. So it is the second annual, even though the name changed, it's the second annual event that we'll be hosting at the same time we did around last year. Currently up to 74 entries, so it's going to be a big one, James.
Jeez. We got 74 entries this year for that?
Yep. So
Wow.
I've opened up the gates. I'm allowing anyone and everyone between ARCA, trucks, and Bridge to Cup to make one-off starts. So everyone and anyone that has a seat in Sigma Racing, they're welcome to come race that one race in the Cup Series.
Okay, I don't know if I'm supposed to be promoting this or not, but that playlist is going to be awesome.
Oh, I know.
That playlist is going to be awesome.
You remember last year's playlist, right? We put one together for the...
Oh, yeah. I remember you had to play in the background for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Where it couldn't get where we can't get stricken down for it.
So yeah, 74, think about that, 74 different bands all on one playlist. I want to get to 75. That would be huge. Honestly,
Knockout hype tournament.
I was
Battle of the band.
I was like rolling with even trying to get up to 100 people, but kind of throttled back on that because there's I mean, I still got to get probably about 25 more paint schemes done up.
It'd be cool if we could get all the paint schemes done before, like a month before, and do like a battle of the bands type of thing, and the winner of the paint matchup tournament gets a lock-in.
Yeah, you're onto something there because that's kind of, I haven't really publicized it.
That'd be cool.
But that is one thing I have planned, is that we'll have a fan vote in on basically, you know, like how they do like in your kind of your local racetracks, like prettiest car, trophy car, kind of yep, best in car. And we'll definitely do that.
I'd say do it matchup style.
Do it like a bracket or something.
Yeah, it makes it easier. It's a lot easier to get people to vote on things if you do it individual posts.
I like that.
And just kind of have like a bracket and then a picture with the matchup.
Kind of reminds me, I did this one thing, I think on, was it like GameSpot, I think, that they do like the like top 100 video game characters, and they do it like a bracket. You know what I'm talking about? Yep,
it's exactly kind of like that.
Yep, that would be cool. Nope, you were definitely on.
We'll label it like the rock, whatever.
The Music Fest.
Battle of the Bands.
Yep, you were on point with that because I was.
We'll workshop a name for it. It's gonna have a name by the time we get to the bracket actual thing.
Right. And we'll have a spotter's guide too. So for the race, everyone will be able to look at a spotter's guide.
Well, that's kind of the cool part of the bracket. It also functions as that as well.
Right. Yep, I know that we've got quite a few people that are going to be making their... Honestly, there's some of them that aren't even running in our ARCA or Trucks Bridge to Cup series right now that we've been able to recruit to get to race in the Music Fest Grand Prix, so...
So you're saying we've got invaders?
We do.
Who, kind of similar to like... I'm not going to say SVG now since he's come all the way over here fully now.
Yeah. But like to that degree, yes.
To that degree.
And if anyone else is still watching, I guess too, I mean, we're open. I'm allowing open enrollment. If anyone else wants to be part of the show, by all means, you know where to find it. So Trevor Walker's led every lap so far. Trevor Vaden has been holding down second. Tim Cording not letting the two get away. Actually, even the 24 of Kyler Sestre catching up to the lead trio here.
Yeah, I was gonna say a couple laps ago that it looks like Kyler Sustre kind of came up here to just kind of be like, "Hey guys, don't count me out yet." I was just kind of hanging out back there. Something happened to the 12 here?
Unfortunately, it looks like Harvey he was running in
Yeah, he
6th.
had something happen.
Flat tire
Ooh.
for the 12. Had a
Well,
flat.
something must have happened leading up.
We'll see where he gets the tire puncture here. Yep, right there. Gets a tire puncture and then has to
Yeah, car just
soldier
goes
it.
straight.
Oh, parks it right there. Calls the invisible tow truck.
We're fortunate. Fortunately for us, that was not worse than what it looked like could have been.
Do you think we should throw a caution because we had to get the tow
It's a,
truck or
I feel like
play-by-play basis?
we're
Just
kind
keep
of late
rolling.
now, but if it
Yeah.
happens again, it might be. Yeah, because we're like 2 laps late now. So
Unfortunately, wow, we had another tire failure earlier with the 94 Paul Ladino. Looks
that's
like
unfortunate for him. He was having a good comeback too.
he's been running out there even with the flat tire. He's all the way up to 29th. So
I mean,
maybe
I guess with the 12 being the only one a lap down right now, if we wanted to be generous, throw the caution, bring things together, give them their lap back, because they're not going to pit again, I don't think. But that's up to you. We don't have to do that. It's just a thought. Since the 12 car is the only one a lap down, and they were the ones that, you know, kind of got screwed by us not realizing it happening.
I think we'll just keep our eyes peeled here. Wow, Tasha all the way up to 9th now. Great run for her. As I mentioned, Alex Sanvital still just quietly being a contender week in, week out here. 93 of Sanvital, his rookie campaign this season. And he's sitting 9th in the points. And that would be good enough to make it into the chase as they sit with all the drivers that do and don't have wins. San Vital would be 9 of 10 of the top 10 seeds that would make it through. So there's a little bit of a battle that if I had more time to actually calculate the points, there's alliances between the trucks. For example, Subaru would be the Jap car department. Then you've got the Euro car and the Americar between Chevy, Ford, and Dodge. The only Euro car would be that of Volkswagen, of course, unless we were able to entice another European manufacturer that makes trucks in here. Let me see if I can get a good shot of the side view here. Oh, if I had my Stream Deck plugged in, I could actually do something real quick.
Yikes. Oh no. What have you done?
We're good, we're good.
Oh, we're good, we're good.
This is how...
Oh, gee, are you sure you can do this?
2 frames per second. Okay.
Yeah, we
Okay.
dropped just to a few frames per second that it stopped showing on the screen.
I was able to accomplish what I've come here for. You can see right there the Eurocar emblem on the side. Now I gotta disable my drone cam, and then we're gonna be good to go.
This is what's gonna crash the race, all to show that we have the Eurocar logo.
Yeah, I say it was worth it. I had to do
Worth it.
something. Do something to spice it up a little bit. I don't know if TV1 is better or TV2. We'll roll with TV1.
Some road courses, I feel like finding a way to just balance switching between the two might be a good way to do things. Ooh,
Wow.
fight. They're tight here now. What happened? Oh no, never mind.
It must
They
have
are a
been,
little bit closer than what they were.
It must have been the Stream Deck that had kind of botched their laps or something. I don't know.
I don't think their tires fell off that hard.
Okay, now you know
Oh, what the heck
NR2003
happened?
is glitching out of its mind when you've got the left front wheel doing that.
No, it looks like Rich Roy got damaged somewhere
But
on the right side.
he shouldn't be making that kind of a lap time with that much damage. 3:15. Dude, actually, maybe he did get some significant damage, because you shouldn't be laying down a lap at 3:15. He did come down pit road. So that's
Damage. That's damage. What happened to him?
Man, I don't know.
Yeah, look at that left side of his.
It's when we unplugged and plugged in the Stream Deck. I don't know, man. We do see pit stops, though. That's a interesting side note there, that these guys might actually have to pit before the finish of this one. Those that were running about mid-pack decided to pit halfway through the race.
Hopefully Rich Roy will get his tire fixed soon.
Yeah, because he's only running on 3 wheels right now.
And the lap times are definitely showing it. Oh yeah, he's going through that corner.
This could be impressive. Chris Harvey could gain some spots here with all the people taking pit stops halfway through the race.
This could also make it so if our leaders are able to save, they might run into some lap traffic too.
Totally. So Tosh is now up to 8. Noah Hobson in the top 5. And
No
this
changes in the top 4.
battle's through, still brewing here in the top 3. Wow, that was a very alternative line that Tim
Yeah, that was a
Cording
really interesting line.
looked like he made up some time taking
Looks like,
that line.
oh, they're all coming in. No? Oh, it just looked like,
Darn glitchy frame rate.
well, I think that's the first time they've come to the left a little bit when they were coming into that corner. At least that I've noticed.
So we did just barely get past halfway here as we're down to 10 laps to go now.
Have any of our other cars come into pit?
So the 46 pitted. The 31 of Rich Roy has pitted.
And fix that tire, it looks like.
22 just now leaving pit road, as well as the 97 of Chavot. So quite a few takers on the back half of the field that are trying to change the
See if we can
strategy.
get away with an overcut, maybe.
Man, this is going to have to be one of the hard charger awards right here. Paul Ladino from dead last after being 1 minute off the pace. And
I think we may have been right. Paul Ladino may have binned it somewhere during qualifying.
yeah, like
to
you
cause
said,
that 1 minute off.
they only get 1 lap under qualifying circumstances here, so you better put in one really good lap or pay the consequences.
It is quite possible that maybe they misbroke somewhere, lost a little bit of time, and then were just pushing plain too hard and spun out somewhere else on the course.
Okay, here is
here we
the
go.
pit stop. Looks like the Trevor's leaving. Oh, wow. Tim loses a spot.
And a ton of time.
We're going to have to see here, too, if Brian DeBlanc, I don't know if he stayed out this whole time.
I think so.
Oh, he pitted a lap earlier, so he got the undercut.
Yep. Looks like we got a race on our hands now.
And that puts DeBlanc a little bit closer up to the front. Now we have a new driver in the top 3 as Kyler Sestre right there behind the Trevors. Wow, he's right on the back bumper of Walker there. He might just wreck Walker. Holy cow. There is not enough room to slip a piece of paper between the two of them. Oh, wow, wow, wow. Here we go. Pass for position. You do not see that happen very often against Trevor Walker. That's a bold move there.
They must have found something big in this 24 truck. Also, it looks like Brian DeBlanc getting by Tim Cording back there.
Holy cow, man. This race is coming alive here. Coming alive.
That undercut may have been huge. That extra lap to get the tires warm.
Woofty. Fastnot with a little bit of carnage, and he's still fighting in the top 10 here.
Looks like Tim's kind of struggling in that truck.
Wow, he is getting run over here right now. Doesn't look like we have anything point towards mechanical or other for the 90. He's just struggling at the moment. Under attack, another position about to change hands. Here's the 15 of Hobson right there on his back bumper. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Wow, Trevor Walker has fallen to the grasps of now Brian DeBlanc making a move for
Where's
third.
Sestre then? What's Sestre doing up there?
Oh, Brian DeBlanc, I want to watch this pass before we skim forward. DeBlanc is going to secure third place, as you see ahead in the distance. Kyler Sestre still hasn't caught up with Vaden, but DeBlanc making a solid venture up to third here. So Trevor Vaden, everyone, it almost feels like that most of the pit stops were maybe gas only, because the tires are still very much wore out. They're nowhere near their best lap time.
Yeah, but we watched everybody take tires.
Did they take scuffs or something? It's so weird. The setups, they just they fell apart after their pit stops because they're nowhere near. Maybe the track conditions. Maybe the track got hotter.
Maybe. Who knows?
It's actually kind of unexplainable here why there's so many of the fast trucks dropping. They just missed it on the setups here.
It could have got cooler. The track could have got cooler too. It does look like for some reason our backdrop got a little bit darker since we started this. It could just be my eyes looking at it funny, but it does look for some reason like our backdrop got a little darker.
All I know is it's providing us with some exciting racing here on the second half of the race.
Well, maybe those two trucks aren't done after all. Maybe they just needed another lap or two to get some heat in them.
One thing that stayed relevant here, the 9th on back may not have seen a whole lot of changes. Looks like Tasha, Sanvital, Wagner. Holy cow, Paul Ladino all the way up.
12th.
13th. It looks like they got past him here, but big mover here in tonight's race at COTA. That 94 has kind of silenced the doubters, I think, with a good run here today. Down to just 7 laps to go here. It's still Trevor Vaden holding the lead over Kyler Sustre. What once was Trevor Walker dominating this race, it looks like it's kind of switched hands here to his teammate, Vaden. Which this battle between the two of them, it's like a high-stakes game of tennis. And one will outdo the other, then it'll be a flip. The other one will outdo that one, and currently Trevor Walker only has a 6-point lead over Trevor Vaden. And
do me a favor, dip back to Tim, or back past, yeah. Oh, okay. It was the 19 who had taken off there. I could see a black truck that had taken off back there, but I couldn't quite tell which one it was.
Oh, gotcha, okay.
I was going to say, it looks like Tim's truck came alive, but no, other truck.
So what's interesting here is, even though...
Oh, he blew that hard to trying not to hit the back of
right?
the blank.
Now that is the toxic corner here at the track. It's been a tough one for all of them. No matter which series we run here, it's the problem corner. But yeah, Trevor Vaden, even with his lead right now, I think Trevor Walker may have led most laps tied up. It's not out of the realm of possibility that we end up leaving here with a tie for the points lead with the two teammates. Looks like Sustre's losing ground now. He has not been able to catch up to Vaden near as quickly as it looked like he was gonna. 5 seconds.
He's falling off hard now.
Gotta give him credit for having such a huge turnaround. What looked like maybe a top 5 or even a top 10 truck is fighting for a podium. This battle for third could be high stakes here, especially with Trevor Walker still trying to secure and keep the overall points lead on this Western Division. Ryan DeBlanc, on the other hand, he wants to try and get as many points as he can so that he can keep his standing and transfer through on points if he's not able to get a win. Six laps.
Looks like Tim's back in the top 5 and running down that 19 truck back there.
6 laps doesn't seem like a lot, but especially at a road course this size, that could take another 15-20 minutes, honestly. Especially at the pace. I mean, this track, it's no easy feat to come out on top at COTA. Wow. Trevor Vaden nearly turned his fastest lap in the race last time on the last lap.
He's actually turned that that fastest lap recently, because that is the fastest lap on track right now.
So he's got it cooking right now. Seems like they've got that truck set up for a long run, and long run is what they've had here today. That 20 only has about 5 laps left to go here. fell off a little bit on that lap, but he's got nothing to worry about here. He was a full 2 seconds faster than Kyler Sustre in second. Yeah, I think after the stream tonight, I'm going to go see if there's more startup programs that have found their way in my startup. It seems like every time you install something new, even if it doesn't ask about
Doesn't matter
it,
how. If it doesn't matter doesn't matter how minor it is. It'll just randomly stick itself to your
yep.
startup tasks.
And I thought getting a computer with 16 gigs of RAM was going to be the secret, but yeah, maybe I need 32 gigs of RAM. I thought I had it enabled, like where you could actually allow NR2003 to push past the like 50% threshold on memory usage. And I've think I've looked at it once, and it's still like right at about 48% memory usage, even when it's doing stuff like this. But I don't know, man. I have to do that studying on my free time to figure out what's problematic and what's not.
Honestly, I would just shut off any of them
Right.
that you don't really necessarily want starting up. If you're okay with them starting up, then have them start up then. But
Ooh, we just had a pass executed somewhere along the track. Trevor Walker got back by Brian DeBlanc. And that in itself is a huge move, as it could almost give him enough points to stay as our points leader leaving here today. No, this points battle is, I mean, it's worth the price of admission here in 2024 watching the two Trevors, kind of like you mentioned, T squared, and their dominance in this Western Division. I'm trying to wonder what's a common comparison in real life NASCAR. Was there ever a two-car team that had drivers that just won back to back and just kind of ping pong back and forth? I mean, maybe back in the yesteryears of Penske when they had Joey Logano and Brad Keselowski.
Gordon and Johnson.
Yeah, well, and even though they're on a four-car team, that would definitely apply, because they were, Jeff Gordon would win one race, Jimmy would win the other race, back and forth, back and forth. Honestly, Joey Logano and Brad Keselowski, I think, was kind of an underestimated power duo for NASCAR. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I didn't know. Most people
until they
didn't.
started not liking each other anyways.
Yeah. I don't think Penske's been the same without Keselowski. It's missing something as of Blaney's good, and Logano's still. I mean, he's still Logano.
It's missing the level head.
Yeah.
It's missing the in between. You got
Cinder,
Blaney, who doesn't really want to show any emotion, and then you've got Logano, who just is willing to fight anybody and everybody.
right? Well, and then Cinder kind of, he's
He's
almost
just there.
kind of the
Just
Paul
there.
Menard.
Yeah, he's Paul Menard. He's just there.
Yeah, he's the Paul Menard of a current generation. I guess you could say that about many of the drivers anymore. There's what used to be a singular driver. We've now seen Paul Menards across the board.
I think that's kind of what when we heard that Gene Haas was going to keep his team, and then we all saw Custer as the last name of the competition director.
Right.
Everybody in the NASCAR community just sighed a heavy sigh and went, "Welcome back to the Cup Series, Cole."
Has that been concrete in stone yet, or pretty
No,
much?
nothing's
Or
official yet, but his dad's the competition director for it or whatever.
right?
So, I mean, it's a no-brainer at that point.
No, it's gonna
They've
be
been
a
cheeky about it. They've been cheeky about it and been like, "Oh no, that's not what's gonna happen. We don't think he's ready for that yet."
right.
But we've heard that before. Looks at Ty Gibbs.
Yeah, it's gonna be a silly season this year.
Memes a lot? No. I'm sorry. That is the wrong answer. That's just the wrong answer. I'm all for a good underdog story, but not that one.
Well, what about uh, who just finished second? Why am I shooting mind blanks? Who finished second at Nashville in the 71?
Smith? Zane Smith?
Zane Smith for 2024 NASCAR Cup champion.
Oh boy, what an underdog. Also, I've been calling this truck wrong for the last like half an hour. This is the 15 truck, not the 19 truck.
Hey, I wasn't gonna say anything. I was like, hey, it's an Evernham swoopy on there. It looks like it could be a 19, so I think
No, I kept looking at it and I kept calling it a 19. I'm like, I'm gonna keep calling it a 19 because that's what it looks like until I can get another better look at it again. And I've been sitting here waiting to get another look at it, and now that I've got another look at it, my apologies.
I'm pretty sure Chazzy would take the 19 if Atlee didn't have first dibs on it, and he would definitely give it that Evernham flair and whatnot. Well, we are right towards the end of this one now. 3 laps to go. And yes, it has been grueling. Throw the caution? Are you sure?
No.
Has there been any other mechanical failures? Nope, just pit stops. If we see a wreck, I'll throw it.
That's fine. They'll just glitch out of existence so we don't have to see it.
We have the infamous Charlotte mod, the track that if they hit the front stretch just right, it clips them out of the track and then flips them through the air like a spaceship. And due in part to just the sheer randomness, I'm never gonna get rid of that Charlotte track because of that. Because it's just, I mean, it's crazy and it's fun and exciting. I mean, it could happen to anyone. So who's gonna be the next one to get sent helicopter into the air when we go to Charlotte each year?
Right.
We actually got to see it across all 3 series this year with trucks, and it was a massive and utter wreck fest, as well as Bridge to Cup and the Cup Series. But with our next Cup race, I think we're going to see an S-Class race in just a couple days for the 777 annual around Las Vegas. That track has provided us with some great racing action each year.
I think I'd like to find a couple of figure eights for the one-off season
Are you
mini
thinking
series we're gonna do.
for the cubes? Do figure eight
Absolutely,
cubes?
do a figure eight race with the cubes. Just watch them go flipping through the air.
I've always wondered, do they actually have like a special physics mod for the cube?
I have no clue. I've never dealt with it.
Because it looks like the cubes just bounce like off the walls like ping pong balls. So that made me wonder. It's like, man, are they even using physics on them? Because they're all helter skelter.
They could not. They could just let them ping pong. They could create ping pong. They could have just made ping pong physics for them, which
Yeah.
would be absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, that'll be exciting to start and put some of that together for our off season. Give us something to do during the winter time of the year.
I might throw some more Rec Happy tracks in there for that, just for the funsies, because we're not gonna take it too seriously over there for the cubes.
Man, Trevor Walker, he's trying to catch up to the 24 of Sestre. What times did he turn a 2:30 versus Sestre's 2:31.3?
Yeah, he might catch him. He might catch him, but we are coming up to the white flag here, I believe.
Here,
No, we are coming to the white flag lap right now.
let me do this too and give everyone an idea of how many times this year it's been the Trevor show. So, the first time it happened was our second race at California. It was Walker Vaden, then it was Pikes Peak, Walker Vaden. Then at Sonoma, it was... Oh, wait, I had that backwards for the first two. It was Vaden Walker. Then it was Walker Vaden at Sonoma, Walker Vaden at Texas, and then Vaden Walker at Riverside. So we've had it happen now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times in 10 races. And all he's got to do is get by Kyler Sestre, and it'll be 6th time this season that the pairing has happened at the front of the field. Which is not out of the realm of possibility here. We're kind of used to seeing that dominance, like you mentioned, out of the Courting brothers. We'd see that kind of dominance. And it's going to get interesting once the regular season does come to a close here. Setting these guys up with the best of the East and the best of the West, and really see how things shake out. White flag waving here at COTA. Sestre at this point is sweating bullets. He knocked another half second off. Yeah, it's not going to be...
12 seconds. Jeez, he's going to have to blow an engine right now. Like, right now. For Sestre to even have a chance of catching him.
I guarantee you there's a crew of people that is cheering on Kyler Sestre to keep that Trevor 1-2 finish at bay. That's the fun part about spectator sport. You're going to have your cheers, you're going to have your jeers, you're going to have people that don't like one driver, you're going to have people that love them all or don't like any at all.
I guess that's kind of why I've enjoyed the little, like, I've created my own little, like, 45-minute, two races per round, multi-class racing on Race Room, and I enjoy just watching them. Because, like, I set them up on like the shortest version of each course that I could pick out, or like the opposite of, or like when I got the Indy on the options, I went the oval instead of the road course, just
Okay,
because why not?
right.
It's fun to watch the chaos when nobody's gonna get hurt.
Kyler Sestre's just got a couple more segments to go here around this long, grueling road course. Well, in the meantime, coming around the last turn at the front of the field here, it's Trevor Vaden who's going to coast to his 5th victory in the USA Trucks West. I get too far ahead of myself, but here he goes, collecting the checkered flag at COTA. And we're going to have to see how close this battle, if at all. Right at the end, it's going to be Kyler Sestre coming home 2nd. Trevor Walker is going to keep it close in that points battle. DeBlanc, Hobson, Cording, Magoon, Tasha Wright with an 8th. Alex Sanvital 9th. And Matthew Fastnot, even with the tore-up truck, still coming home top 10. John Hagan for a 12th here. Spinham Walker 14th. Braden Hunt 15th. William Whitmore 16th. Not seeing where Paul Ladino shook out here. I thought he was going to have a stellar into the race, but apparently dropped off. So right here, this is our mid-pack madman, Jason So. I don't think he's finished any worse than 25th. However, I don't think he's finished any better than 21st. So he's consistent and keeps putting in. I mean, it's a stout field out there.
Hey,
So
I was gonna say it's a stout field around here. It doesn't hurt to have a guy like that where it's like you're kind of mid, dude. Yeah, but at least I show up and I'm able to run decently and fight.
well, and those consistent, that'll start working yourself up the point standings little by little. You could get a top 15 because of the other people that are not consistent.
By the way, I'm loving watching your frames go up as drivers make it back to pit lane and return to their trailer.
Paul Ladino come home 23rd here, so not bad. Made it
Not
halfway
bad.
through.
Yeah, I was gonna say halfway through the field. That's still pretty good. That's a pretty hard charge.
He's
I don't think
definitely
anybody else made it further than that, but we'll check the news when we get to it at the end of this. That'll confirm it. It'll tell us.
Yeah, he'll definitely be a contender for that hard charger award.
I love that NR tells us at the end of every race in the final result who the hard charger was.
Right? I just figured out recently how to create the victory screen. Some tracks I've downloaded don't actually have the victory screen.
Oh yeah, it's kind of weird to try to create. Some places are kind of weird to create it.
I figured out you could just copy paste it from another track file and it works.
Yeah. We had a lot of retirements, surprisingly.
I wonder if they pulled off before they finished their lap and
maybe. Who knows?
Yeah, they probably didn't even run the last lap. They probably just like, wait, from 13th, Jonah Burridge. Wait, what happened? So there might have been something else that happened here. Because Jonah Burridge gets credited with tail end of the field.
He didn't get DQ'd, though.
No?
He said he finished 2 laps down. Or he retired from an accident.
Oh, right there.
Oh, that'll do it.
It wasn't the last lap in the books yet. He probably could have coasted around, but I think what probably happens is after taking this damage here, running into John Hagan, instead of finishing the lap, he probably pulls it down pit road.
Which is why he gets credited with 38th or 37th.
Now that's a heartbreak for sure. to have a top 15 run and then all of a sudden have to
Yep.
retire. Wow. And he probably didn't have to. Nope, he never passed the start finish line because his pit
Yeah.
stall's way before the pit stall or the finish line. So
Yeah.
that's a
That's
bummer.
unfortunate. What happens to the '07 though?
That was him. That was Burridge.
Oh, that was Verge. Okay.
Yeah. The 31 we didn't see, but I think probably exactly
Yeah.
the same. Oh, he didn't even make it past lap 20.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Did we miss another wreck?
Oh. That was gnarly looking. We haven't seen that from the front stretch yet until here. I think that was
Oh, yeah.
damage.
There was damage. There was damage. There's damage to the rear end of the '01.
Yep, as you can see now, the damage is starting to show itself. Well, a few more trucks bite the dust before the finish. But ultimately, victory goes to Trevor Vaden, and Kyler Sestre spoils the 1-2 finish for the Trevors.
Another solid finish for both of the KBM trucks on the West Coast, too.
Most definitely. Tasha with a top 10. Tim Cording just shy of a top 5.
Looks like the rest of the Volkswagen brigade starting to turn around a little bit, too.
See, I'm thinking DeBlank's going to be a dark horse going into the championship battle. He hasn't gotten that win yet, but the win, it's definitely right around the corner, I imagine. Okay.
Oh,
Chris
yeah,
Harvey.
Chris Harvey. Oh, heartache. Which means we don't get to see who our hard charger was. So we're just going to happily assume it was Paul Ladino.
Which, and we'll update on.
Because in our hearts, it was.
Yes. Man, having a rough start to the day, starting dead last with a full second off the pace. That doesn't happen very
Whole
often.
minute off the pace.
Yeah, a whole minute. 2 minutes and something, and then that one was a 3-minute lap for him. So, well, I think we've learned I need to figure out some things on my computer for the next couple streams so that we can continue doing simulcast streams like this.
Where we headed tomorrow for the for the 4th of July.
So Gateway for the USA Trucks
Ooh.
Eastern Division.
That should
And
make for some good racing.
I'm not quite sure what time in the day tomorrow, but probably a little bit later in the afternoon, maybe in the evening too, before it gets
For
dark
dinner
out.
time here on the East Coast.
But ultimately, any last statements on your end, James?
I know I got a full weekend of B-Spec racing to be watching. I'm looking forward to that. And yeah, hopefully I'll be here with you for Gateway
Cool.
tomorrow.
Yep, I'll
At least for a little bit. So
I'll coordinate with you and see what times you're available, and we can work on that for sure. Sorry, fans, that the stream was a little bit botchy here tonight, but we'll work on that. We'll get it kind of
yeah,
fine-tuned.
we're working on it again.
And ultimately, thanks. I saw a lot of new people on our chat log. That was cool. I didn't know most of those names, so welcome
Yeah.
aboard.
Yeah, welcome. hopefully you come join us. This was one of our more spaced out races.
Right. Road courses tend to do
But
that.
normally our truck series is a little bit more. I don't want to say chaotic because that's not the right word. Um,
Jam packed.
yeah, jam
Yeah.
packed.
Yep.
It's a little tighter racing.
And it's had its moments. But even tonight we got to see some comers and goers after the round of pit stops. So strategy is one of the main focal points on road courses, and it still provides us with a little bit of a shakeup once in a while. Ultimately, it was Trevor Vaden that came out on top with his strategy calls here tonight. So, alrighty. Thank you, James. Thanks everyone else for tuning in. Have a happy 4th of July, everyone. It's obviously July 3rd here today, so we'll see you
Uh,
tomorrow.
Happy 4th of July for those of us over here on the East Coast.
Right. Yep. I forgot about that. I'm always 3 hours behind. So we'll go ahead and close out the show here tonight and invite y'all to come tomorrow for the truck race at Gateway. So stay safe out there, everyone. Have a good night, and we'll see you on the next one. This is Jakester signing out.